Have you ever met someone and instantly felt like they were meant to be in your life? I'm not necessarily talking about a romantic thing. It could be a profound friendship, a partnership, a mentorship, or even a stranger who appears at the perfect moment. Coincidence? Or something more? Something that resonates with your inner world. In this video, we'll explore Carl Jung's perspectives on meaningful connections and try to grasp why it feels like some people are truly destined for us. We'll delve into the impact of the unconscious on our attractions, touch on synchronicity as a manifestation of deep alignment, and learn to distinguish authentic connection from illusion. And maybe, we'll ask the most important question. Before finding your person, have you discovered yourself? Let's begin. Before we dive in, subscribe to our channel and join our Telegram community. Get early access to new videos and invaluable insights into personal and spiritual growth. Now, let's get started. Carl Jung and the deep meaning of connections. Carl Jung didn't believe in mere coincidences. In his view, events and people that enter our lives carry deep symbolic meaning. Each interaction mirrors something within us, often something hidden in the unconscious. When someone appears and feels strangely familiar, as if you've known them forever, Jung called it synchronicity, a meaningful coincidence. It's that rare instance when your inner world intersects with external reality at the ideal moment. Such encounters aren't random. They become mirrors of your inner state, bringing insights, healing, or even internal conflicts. But that doesn't imply every powerful connection is meant to be eternal. The unconscious doesn't crave comfort. It craves growth. And sometimes, those who evoke the deepest feelings in us are those who awaken our most profound wounds. Sometimes, such people enter our lives not to stay, but to awaken us. They're like catalysts, unearthing something forgotten, repressed, or unconscious. Through pain, admiration, or even disappointment, they return us to ourselves, to those parts we've avoided or undervalued. Jung believed that in everyone we meet dwells a shadow, a reflection of our own shadows and light. And the stronger the emotional response, the greater the potential for inner transformation. But recognizing such a connection doesn't always mean holding on to it. Sometimes, it's vital not to cling, but to understand what it taught us, to understand and let go, because the true purpose of these encounters isn't to fill us with someone else, but to awaken wholeness within us. Ultimately, the deepest connection we can forge is the connection with ourselves, what the unconscious truly attracts. If you've noticed yourself stuck in the same scenarios, abandonment, emotional unavailability, conflicts, Jung would say it's not fate. It's your unconscious speaking to you in its own language. The psyche strives for wholeness, and until these unconscious patterns remain in the shadows, we'll keep reliving them, like a recurring play, hoping for a different ending. That's precisely why certain dynamics feel so painfully familiar. You're not cursed. You're simply being shown what still requires healing. For instance, if you felt unseen as a child, you might unconsciously gravitate toward people in adulthood who disregard your needs, not because you seek suffering, but because your psyche is trying to comprehend this pain, rewrite it, complete the cycle. But as long as it remains unconscious, the script will repeat. This is why awareness is the first step toward freedom. Until you see the root, you mistake the symptom for the cause. You might call it bad luck, karma, or a mistake, but it's actually just a mirror of your unresolved beliefs. And only by facing them head-on can you begin to rewrite your narrative about yourself. True transformation begins when you stop searching for the right people and start looking inward. When you ask not why this happened to me, but what this says about me. Every connection, especially a painful one, is an invitation to delve deeper, to understand your needs, fears, and blind spots. It's not about blaming yourself or others. It's about understanding, about choice, about the opportunity to no longer act from old pain, but from new awareness. Jung wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." So, the real work isn't finding the ideal person, but becoming the person who can recognize, accept, and sustain a healthy connection. And when you know yourself, you'll know your person, not because they fill a void, but because they meet the wholeness within you. And that will be a connection of consciousness, not a repetition of pain, but its resolution, becoming the one who attracts their person. Carl Jung believed that the path of individuation, the path of becoming oneself, lies at the heart of any healthy relationship. When you're fragmented, you attract those who reflect your fragmentation. When you're whole, you attract from wholeness. It's not just a beautiful metaphor. It's a psychological, emotional, and even energetic reality. Many seek their person without ever becoming the person who can recognize them. They ask, why do I attract those who don't value me? But a more honest question is, do I value myself? As long as internal deficiency resonates within you, you'll attract those who amplify it. But when you begin to shift your relationship with yourself, the world shifts in response. People who once seemed attractive lose their power over you. You no longer seek in others what you lack. You tune into different frequencies, and new, resonant connections emerge. It's not magic. It's you ceasing to define yourself with borrowed words and beginning to speak from your own wholeness. You no longer enter a relationship out of hunger, but out of fullness. That's why the real meeting with your person begins long before the actual encounter. It begins with a meeting with yourself, with acknowledging your wounds, your needs, your shadow, with a willingness not only to be loved, but to love truly, with open eyes, without illusions, not out of fear of being alone, but out of a fullness that desires to share. Jung didn't provide easy answers, but he believed that as you journey toward yourself, you'll inevitably meet those traveling the same path. And then the connection will be not a rescue, but a union, not an attraction of traumas, but a harmony of souls. So, before seeking someone who recognizes you, ask yourself, have you recognized yourself? Have you become someone you'd want to approach, not out of need, but out of mutual recognition? Because genuine connection isn't something you need to earn. It's what happens when two individuals come to themselves and meet each other. Synchronicity or projection, learning to distinguish. There's a subtle, yet vital distinction to be made, not to confuse synchronicity with projection. When you feel a strong attraction to someone, it's worth asking yourself, is this truly alignment, or am I projecting my unmet needs, dreams, or fears onto them? Jung explained that when we're unaware of a certain quality within ourselves, we tend to attribute it to others. If you've fallen for someone's confidence, charisma, or vivacity, it's quite possible you've simply rejected these parts within yourself. You didn't see the person. You saw a canvas onto which you unconsciously projected your shadow or your light. And this is where the danger lies. When the person fails to live up to the created ideal, the illusion shatters, and disappointment ensues. Not because the person changed, but because you never saw them in the first place. You saw the self you wanted to find outside. So, how do you distinguish? True connection isn't a whirlwind that throws you off balance. It's not a constant pursuit, anxiety, or desire to be enough. Authentic connection grounds you. It brings peace, clarity, and quiet confidence. You not only feel the other person, you feel yourself alongside them. Authentic, accepted, whole. Intuition doesn't lie. Are you listening? One of Carl Jung's most subtle and underappreciated teachings is the significance of intuition. He believed that the unconscious doesn't speak in words. It speaks through sensations, subtle emotional currents that flow beneath the surface of logic. Remember when you ignored that quiet, persistent feeling that something was off? Staying in a relationship despite internal discomfort, telling yourself you were just too sensitive. But your body knew. It always knew. That was intuition. When someone is truly yours, your nervous system isn't living in a state of alert. You don't analyze every word. You're not afraid to be yourself. You're not waiting for the blow when everything seems too good to be true. You feel calm, ease, naturalness. Not a passion that burns, but a warmth that sustains. This is what's true. Real connection doesn't shout, it whispers. And if you've done the inner work to quiet your fears and insecurities, you'll hear that whisper clearly, without doubt, because it will resonate from within, not from without. Love isn't a battlefield. One of the most destructive myths of modern culture is the idea that love must be tumultuous to be real, that emotional highs and lows are a sign of passion. But Jung would remind us that chaos isn't connection, struggle isn't proof of depth. If it seems to you that love is a battle, ask yourself, what am I fighting for? For love or for confirmation of my own worth? Is it a genuine feeling or a fear of being alone? True love doesn't require you to betray yourself. It's not fueled by power, drama, or emotional acrobatics. The one who's meant for you won't make you diminish yourself. They'll create a space in which you can expand, letting go of what isn't yours. Here's one of the hardest truths. Many say they're searching for their person, yet they're unwilling to let go of someone who's already proven they're not. They hold on, make excuses, hope, but the years pass and nothing changes. Jung would say you can't grow in barren soil. If a relationship brings only pain, it's not a test, it's a message. Your unconscious is still trying to heal through suffering. And until you realize this, you'll mistake persistence for loyalty and pain for love. Letting go isn't weakness, it's maturity. It's choosing to no longer betray yourself in the name of a half-hearted connection. And when you finally choose peace over chaos, a shift occurs. You free up space, and into that space comes the one who's truly for you. Not because you searched with doubled effort, but because you stopped settling for less. How will you know? When a person is truly yours, you'll know. Not because they're perfect, not because they align with your expectations, but because their presence doesn't require you to abandon yourself. You'll feel peace, seenness, inspiration, but without overload. This connection won't demand proof. It will simply be. You'll cease chasing clarity. It will be there from the start. A quiet confidence, a feeling of alignment that requires nothing but truth. So, instead of asking, "Is this person right for me?" ask yourself, "Am I being true to myself in this relationship?" Because once you become yourself, the people destined for you won't pass you by. They'll recognize you as easily as you recognize them. Final thoughts. It all starts with you. Carl Jung taught that the most important journey is the journey inward. When you choose to face your shadow and heal, to grow, you begin to resonate at a different frequency, and then connections that once held you back no longer resonate, and new ones begin to appear naturally. They don't need to be forced. They don't need to be chased. You simply become the one who can recognize a genuine connection when it arrives. And when it arrives, it doesn't feel like magic. It feels like truth, like home. If this message resonated with you, share your story in the comments. Are you still on the path of becoming, or have you already experienced that resonant meeting that's impossible to mistake? Remember, you deserve the best in life, in thoughts, in environment. If this video was a step towards change, share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to our channel. The next video may be the next step. Thank you for watching.